Hello, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be having a look at Salazzle. Now, recently I did get this very nice IV Salazzle from a 12-kilometer egg, so I powered it up and built it. Now, without further ado, let's get into the matches. Salazzle is a very glassy Pokemon, so you can see how much damage those Volt Switches are already doing. But in return, Incinerate is just doing way too much damage. Opponent is misplaying it. They're staying in, and then they throw an alignment. They switch into Malamar, and I'm going to fire off the Poison Fang. I'm taking a lot of damage from the Psy Waves, but that's absolutely fine with me. I'm now going to switch into Jumpluff, and from here, we can go for the full Fairy Wind farm down because of that Poison Fang debuff. Opponent going to fire off the Foul Plays, and they don't do that much damage to the bulky Jumpluff. Opponent fires off the next Foul Play, and I'm massively over farming. I'm already at the back-to-back Aerial Aces, and I'm able to go for the full farm down. Opponent sends back in Charger Bug, and I'm going for the Aerial Ace. Aerial Ace will barely not KO from this range, but that's even better as we get a nice farm down. Opponent sends in Clodsire, and I'm going to fire off the Energy Ball. I could just send in Quagsire, but I just want to play with my food a bit. I'm sending in Salazzle and going for the Poison Fang debuff. That'll do absolutely nothing to Clodsire, and they get a big farm down. Now I'm gonna send in Quagsire. I'm just waiting out the switch clock for no reason. Opponent is gonna go for the Earthquake. I'm gonna no shield. It doesn't do too much damage, and I'm gonna be massively over farming once more. Opponent only farmed up to a Stone Edge, but I'm gonna shield it anyway, because why not? I'm going to farm up and fire off the Stone Edge. No reason. Just a bit of BM. Now, I switch into Jumpluff for no further reason. And I throw the Aqua Tail on the CMP tie. And we can take that game after a lot of unnecessary messing around. In the next match, we see Salazzle into Jumpluff, the Dream Lead. Opponent sending in for Alligator. And I'm going to send in Jumpluff. Opponent has a little bit of lag there, but it looks like they got in their Shadow Claws that they missed out on. And now I'm going to shield it up as Ice Beam would almost one-shot from this range. I'm going to farm up and go for the Energy Ball. This matchup is flippable for the opponent. It went out like that because I was just blurring a message. Opponent now going to go for the next Ice Beam. I think about it, and I do shield it. I'm going to fire off the Aerial Ace Bait. And the Aerial Ace Bait does get shorted, which is quite fortunate, and we are able to outpace. Energy Ball does easily grab the KO from that range, and the opponent sends in their own Jumpluff. Opponent, surprisingly, is not throwing straight away to get us to low health, so I take this opportunity to fire off Aerial Aces of my own. Opponent is continuing to overfarm, but that was actually the CMP tie, which is absolutely perfect. Opponent goes for the Acrobatics, and I send back in the Salazzle. Opponent sends in Dragapult. That's a really cool pick. I don't actually have one for Great League yet, and I boom it with the Dragon Pulse. Opponent has no way of winning this game, unfortunately, but GG's. In the next match, another Charger Bug lead, and this time they make the correct choice of switching out into Dugong. I respond with Quagsire. In a practice battle, I accidentally switched into Jumpluff. I don't know why. It was a very dumb choice, and I obviously lost that battle. Anyway, opponent debuffs us with the Icy Wind, and now I'm going to fire off the Stone Edge. Opponent does shield it up, and they're going to be firing off the next Icy Wind. I'm going to shield it as it would get us really low and in farm down range, and that's not good, as Dugong's energy goes everywhere in my team. Vuron can absolutely destroy Salazzle, and Icy Wind and Ice Shard destroy the Jumpluff. Now, I don't think I'll be able to get back switch that easily, so I'm just going to fire off the Aqua Tail on the CMP tie to get in some chip. Now, the opponent realizes that it was a CMP tie, and they fully undercharge the Icy Wind, which leaves a little bit of farm for them. But unfortunately for them, they won't be able to get off their energy as I'm able to KO with the Salazzle. Opponent brings in Drapion, and I'm full sending the Dragon Pulse. Does the opponent respect the Dragon Pulse? they don't. It almost one-shots the Drapion. And unfortunately, they do survive the Incinerate, so I'm forced to shield it up, as Aqua Tail would pretty much KO. Opponent sends in Charger Bug, and that's fine with me, as I'm going to just go for the Poison Fang. Poison Fang does some decent damage, and I'm sending in Jumpluff. Now the opponent's going to fire off their energy, which is going to be the X-Scissor, and that doesn't actually do that much. And I'm going to be over-farming, and the opponent's just going to fire off another X-Scissor. Charger Bug is fairly spammy, but it isn't a problem to Jumpluff, as Jumpluff takes it like a champ. I'm going to go for the Aerial Ace. Opponent does actually shield, which is surprising, and they attempt for a catch. But I would not have thrown an alignment, even if it would have won me the game. There's no reason. So, with the unnecessary catch attempt, but also playing to their win con by the opponent, we can take that game. In the next match, terrible lead into Dunsparce. A little bit of weak connection stops you from switching out straight away, which means we get an Incinerate in, but the opponent also gets 2 rollouts in. I send in Quagsire, as it's my only answer on the team. I'm going to be farming up and going for the Aqua Tail. This is not a bait, as Aqua Tail actually does more damage per energy than Stone Edge. Even though Stone Edge is a very nice move, Aqua Tail is an amazing one. Opponent say switches into Goodra actually, and I'm going to go for the Stone Edge. That does some decent damage, and they're firing off energy. They're going for the Aqua Tail, and that's fine with me. I'm just going to send in the Jumpluff. From here, I think we could go for the full farm down, so I'm just going to let this Thunder Punch through. Opponent won't be able to make it to another move, but I miscalculate and I accidentally throw energy. This wouldn't be a good idea in any scenario, so the opponent's going to send in Dunsparce, and I'm going to be firing off the Energy Ball. The opponent no shields. I'm really surprised because Dunsparce beats these 2 Pokemon, so I'd expect them to at least try to preserve that Pokemon a little bit. Now, the opponent sends in Diggersby and a ground type into a poison fire type. That's terrible. But look at the damage from Dragon Pulse. That's neutral damage. Now I'm going to fire off the Poison Fang. Opponent, hopefully they've been miscounting. Yes, we grabbed the shield. That's very fortunate. And now I kind of need to shield this, but I decide not to. Fire Punch doesn't actually KO, and I switch into Jumpluff. And I just kind of realize the game's probably over, so I just let it through. I'm going to fire off the Aerial Ace, and from this range, the opponent no shields. What? And we Fairy Wind farm down the Dunsparce. Why would they no shield that? Why? That's the stupidest game ever. Nightmare lead in the next match into Whiscash. I can't believe we won that last match though. Still in awe about that. Opponent answers Jumpluff with Dugong, and we're getting absolutely hard counted in this game. I fire off the Energy Ball. Opponent is going to shoot it up, and they let us get to the next Energy Ball. Opponents have been misplaying in these matches. These are fairly low elo matches after I dropped a really crazy amount with some stupid teams I was running. I don't know. Like, they weren't even for videos. I was just having fun. So I dropped from 2,400 elo to 2,090. So these battles are from 2,090 to 2,150. I did gain a fair amount of elo, but obviously it still isn't a climbing Pokemon Salazzle. Opponent sends back in Whiscash, and I'm going for the Dragon Pulse. That does so much damage. And I send in Quagsire. We can tank this energy no problem, and Scald does less than 50% of our health. I'm going to immediately fire off the Aqua Tail, and Aqua Tail won't care from this range. So the opponent's just going to let through. I'm going to shield up the Scald, which I'm not sure would have been the right decision, as we could have just maybe sniped with the Salazzle if we hadn't thrown so many mud shots, but that's fine. I'm going to go for the Aqua Tail. Opponent lets it through, and they've got a Marowak in the back. Now, I'm not actually sure. This game is very likely going to be a loss, but let's see if we can climb back out of it. I go for the Aqua Tail, it does some nice damage, and I send in Salazzle. If this is the Bone Club, then we're KO'd. It's the Shadow Bone. Oh, unfortunately, we barely didn't survive, and we cannot make it to the back-to-back Aqua Tails before the opponent makes a single move. So that's GG's. And we can take that loss, unfortunately. Now, into the next match, we see a actually surprisingly good lead into Feraligatr. We win the CMP ties, which is kind of crazy. And Poison Fang, with debuffs, does eventually KO, but I'm able to catch the Hydro Cannon onto Feraligatr, onto my Jumpluff, and Disaster Strikes were answered with Toxapex, pretty much the hardest answer to Jumpluff. Toxapex hard walls so many things. It destroys everything that doesn't have a super effective move against it. Too bulky, and it even has a good fast move, which is kind of crazy. Now, we're able to fire off 2 energy balls, and the opponent has so much energy. I send in Quagsire, and the opponent blind throws a Brine. That doesn't do that much damage, but the opponent, since they've got so much energy, they'll be able to fire off 3 before I get the full farm down. And let's see. I think we might be able to get the farm down. They're 1 off, and I really thought that Mud Shot was going to KO. And now we're going 2 to 1 shields. Opponent's in the Feraligatr, and I'm full sending the Stone Edge. I don't like baiting on this channel. Opponent doesn't respect the damage, and I'm able to connect with the hard-hitting Stone Edge. I'm going to go for the Aqua Tail now. Opponent does shield it up, and now they're able to fire off the Hydro Cannon. I'm going to no shield as we get a really nice 1 Incinerate farm down. Now let's see what's in the back. It's Diggersby. This game is a loss. A ground type. We've got less than half health. I fire off the Poison Fang bait. The bait isn't even successful. I'm going for another Poison Fang bait. It's not successful. Yep, this game is a loss. We've both got 1 shield, and we've got such little health. The opponent has faster moves than us. This game is a loss. So GG's. Wait, is there a chance? Do we make it to the next Poison Fang in time? We do! The Poison Fang spam was worth it, and we're able to connect with the Poison Fang, leaving with 1 HP and a dream. It's a ground type. Salazzle is a Diggersby counter confirmed. Anyway, just showing you this stuff, because I got a random hundo. Just random hundo. And then I got a random base, 444, because it was a weather boosted day. Then I got a 1 IV Magikarp, and I also got a decent Wiglet. Thanks for watching. Bye.